Good morning, everyone. My name is Councillor Julie Griffiths. I had the pleasure of opening Leeds Controlled, a documentary of women and their stories around domestic violence in the 16 days of action. So it's a telling story about controlled behaviour. It's also looking at domestic violence and how women, and in some cases men, can actually speak out about the behaviours and know that there are people there that are going to listen. I commend the documentary, and if you get a chance to have a look at it by Lead, please do. It's a fantastic story about many women and the issues that they find, not only with the system but also about speaking out and how we educate our young children to make sure that they don't follow in their families' footsteps. So I commend the documentary to our community.
They're all about what we can do to make a difference in the community. And we need leaders like Julie Griffiths. So thank you so much being here. Let me start by asking this question to you. How many of you have come across a woman, could be sister, daughter, niece, colleague, could be anyone, who may have gone through, or maybe going through, silenced, controlled, absolutely no rights? Think about it. Think about it, because it's not a hypothetical question. Honestly, it is a reality of so many. Every day, in their own life, in their own home. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and you're going to see the wonderful documentary about what people have gone through and how they have been so courageous to share their story. Talking about coercive control is the topic of today, because domestic, family and sexual violence is so complicated, and so do the coercive control. And we are talking about it's invisible, it's complex, and extremely difficult to prove. Because it's happening in their own home. How do you know what's happening in their home? How do you know? How you pretend to know? The only person who knows about it, her. And we, as a community, don't have choices. Trust her, believe her, what she's saying, with non-judgmental hat. Because when she's talking, then that is the time it's pinching her. That's the time when she had enough. Because before that, she was silent for years and years. Maybe week, maybe year, maybe years. I have come across people 31 years of their marriage being separated. And the community is asking this question, why now? And you, as a community leader, or as a community, or as a social worker, you may have justification for that. Why not now? Why not now? That is the question we need to carry with us as a community, as a grassroots, the cause of the issues. We need to really understand that people will not talk about this because it's happening in their homes. They will talk about when there is a time for them. They cannot have this anymore. They're crying in their heart. And we need to gently nurture them, pick them up the way they are, and support them what they want. It is there. So coercive control is very, very complex, we talked about. From 1st of July 2024, when the law was implemented, it was a good news. In the first year alone, between July 24 to 25, 297 cases were registered. were filed. The cases were filed. And out of 297, only 9 was late. So you can understand how complex to prove what the person is going through. It could be a daughter, it could be your sister, it could be your neighbor, it could be your colleague, it could be anyone. And it can happen to anyone. And I have witnessed this by listening people what they have gone through, and it's unbelievable and unacceptable. And that's why we are talking about this in the public forums. We need to continue holding this pattern and keep on talking about, because we need to really embrace those and saying it should be zero tolerance. And moreover, it's not a hypocrisy. It's not like, we're not talking about if people are in love. We know what love is. Love is not control. Love is not fear. So we are not talking about those things. Up to some extent, especially in the Kal community, I can tell you now, like traditionally, maybe the man is walking 2 meters above the wife, before the wife. When they are going for walk, when you go to parks and see, observe it. It's so common. They're leading, man is leading. And we have let them up to some extent. But we are talking about when actually it is really going beyond our capacity to tolerate the behavior, the way they have been controlled.
I can see, I feel really blessed to be amongst such key community leaders, representatives from different communities, the diverse cultures and communities we have in Sydney, in Australia, also in Bhakta, that you're here taking time out of your busy schedule to make sure that this is just not for women. This is not a women's business. Men, women, all of us, every age has a role to play. The truths shared in this documentary remind us that change doesn't happen by accident. It happens when communities refuse to look away. When we choose to listen, to learn, and act. Thank you to each and every one of you for your presence here today. Your presence affirms the importance of what we are doing together.
How we can break down some of those barriers. And we're talking to the converted, everyone that's here. And I think we need to dig deeper and start educating our children from all ages. And I speak about that because of an incident that was at Glenwood a few years ago, and the woman was sleeping in the garage. Not only did the husband attack her, but the community leaders knew about it. Police are there for a reason, okay? And you might be scared, but they're part of the Australian society that will help protect. Community leaders can't. They think they can, but they can't when it becomes an action. So and the children of the perpetrator was doing the same enacting to the mother in the garage, spitting, kicking their mother on the ground who was sleeping. Harinder knows the story. So I think we really need to educate the children, because everyone here's heard the messages before. It's the children that we need to change as young as we can go, to let them know that these behaviours are not acceptable. And that's the only time we'll make a difference, Shamili.
I just want to share 3 takeaways that I'm taking away from today. Firstly, we hear a lot about what divides us, but I think we can focus on what's common. What do we aspire in common? We want domestic harmony. We want family harmony, and that doesn't happen by chance. It has to be intentional. So we all have a role to play. It's not a women's business. I think you said it so well. So any men in the room, it's our business. We have to step up, but more men need to step up in this. So let's focus on what we all aspire in common and we can start with what's common. And it's so much easier to do that. So we are here because we aspire to have a better community, and we can see Councillor Griffiths have been working on this for years and years. And I think this is the first thing we need to start focusing on, what we have in common, what we aspire in common. Secondly, we all have so much strength within us. Sometimes we feel helpless, but again, together we have a lot of strengths. We focus on our strengths. We tend to focus too much on problems and needs, but let's flip that approach and focus on our strengths. As we could see through the video, there's so much strength within the community, so powerful messages there. So let's flip this approach from a more of a need-based approach to a let's go shift from problem to solution thinking. Let's take a strength-based approach. And finally, we cannot solve this problem alone. It's all about collaboration. We have to work together, whether it's a different sector, different industries, different communities. We need to work together. So we need to work together through a collaborative approach. So these are three key takeaways I'm taking today. Firstly, let's start with what are common. Secondly, let's take a strength-based approach. Thirdly, let's work together collaboratively. Thank you.
Hello, I just finished watching a very powerful documentary made around the topic of coercive control. The stories that never get the press, they're never told in the open. Very powerful, and as a result, there was a lot of people here who took a pledge to be on the lookout for victims, the silent victims, and try to guide them towards support services. So thank you to Lead Connect for organizing this showing of the documentary. Thank you.
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ, ਮੇਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਨਵਜੋਤ ਸ਼ੀਨਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਅਨ ਕੈਥੋਲਿਕ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਐਕੈਡੈਮਿਕ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਓਵਰ ਦ ਲਾਸਟ ਫਿਊ ਇਅਰਸ ਆਈ ਹੈਡ ਅ ਚਾਂਸ ਟੂ ਵਰਕ ਕਲੋਜ਼ਲੀ ਵਿਦ ਹਰਮਨ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਪਰਪਸ ਹੈਗਾ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਪੈਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਗਾ, ਦੈਟਸ ਫਲੋਇੰਗ ਇਨ ਟੂ ਦ ਐਕਟੀਵਿਟੀਜ਼, ਐਵਰੀਡੇ ਐਕਟੀਵਿਟੀਜ਼ ਆਈ ਸ਼ੁੱਡ ਸੇ, ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਪਾਰਟੇਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਜਸਟ ਫੋਲੋਇੰਗ them along, I've come to this screening of a documentary that talks about coercive control. ਜੇ ਕੋਰਸਿਵ ਕੰਟਰੋਲ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਮੱਠਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਐਵਰੀਡੇ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦਾ, ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਕਲਚਰ ਦਾ ਪਾਰਟ ਹੈ, ਟ੍ਰੈਡੀਸ਼ਨਸ ਦਾ ਪਾਰਟ ਆ, ਅਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਅੰਡਰਲਾਈਂਗ ਐਕਸੈਪਟੈਂਸ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਐਜ਼ ਅ ਫੀਮੇਲ ਇਨ ਅ ਹਾਊਸ ਹੋਲਡ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੀਡਿੰਗਸ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਐਕਟਿਵਲੀ ਪਾਰਟੀਸਪੇਟ ਕਰਨਾ, ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਾਂ ਮਿਲਾਉਣੀ ਆ ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਹੋਣ ਦੇਣਾ, ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਰਸਿਵ ਕੰਟਰੋਲ ਨੂੰ ਕੰਟੀਨਿਊ ਹੋਣ ਦੇਣਾ। ਪਰ through this documentary what I've seen is ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ subtle underlying silent symptoms ਨੇ coercive control ਦੇ, we need to be aware about that। ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਟੀਚ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਆਪਣੇ ਚਾਹੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਲੀਗਸ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਲਓ ਜਾਂ other women around you, we need to be talking more freely about what is coercive control, ਉਹਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਕੀ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਅਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਕੀ ਐਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਆਪਾਂ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ over the years we have been conditioned to be accepting to all these things that are impacting us in huge ways. It's impacting individuals' mental health, not just the women but the children as well. So we are seeing long-lasting impact for families and young children, and we want that to be rectified through collaborative efforts, through community engagement and through individual awareness. So that's what the documentary is talking about, and I'm pleased to be a part of the screening event, and I extend my gratitude towards the organizations such as Hummer Foundation and Lead Connect, who have been doing this for the sole purpose of raising awareness about coercive control and hopefully changing the scenario, changing the dynamics around coercive control in Indian communities. Thank you.
Today we were here to listen to the documentary on Controlled, the stories that were never believed, with Lead as well as in collaboration with the Harman Foundation. And I'm Sumeet Sehgal, a spokesperson for the foundation. And I'm so moved by the documentary today. Every time I see it, it just reminds me what an important subject this is in our multicultural communities, in our South Asian communities. And I just hope that the message is out there for everyone that is either in a situation of coercive control or domestic violence, or is in a situation that they know of someone that is in a situation of domestic violence or coercive control, feels the confidence that awareness is increasing, people are recognizing the signs of it. The law has been passed, and you must have the confidence to know that you're not alone. And there is help out there. The Harman Foundation's got a DV helpline that's 24/7. Lead Connect has got people that you can reach out to empower yourself with skills and jobs that you need to get yourself financially independent. There are community leaders that are more aware of this subject. So it's such an important aspect that we must all recognize. Culture is not an excuse to be hiding under the veil of domestic violence, coercive control. You have the right to speak up. You may have fear that you may not be believed, but know that you're not alone. There are people out there that understand, feel the same, are scared, but yet need to come out because it is not okay, it is not acceptable, and you need to be safe, feel confidence, and feel yourself. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Belle. I'm raising 2 teenage boys, and my feedback from watching that, and also as a domestic violence caseworker, is to speak up and to be respectful. And I'm hopefully installing in my boys to be respectful and kind, and to speak up when they see something amongst their friends that isn't right. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Harinder Kaur, and I am from Harman Foundation. I'm the co-founder. So today we have shown a documentary about coercive control. In this video, we did talk about how important it is to look at the issues which are so complicated, coercive control, behind the door, whatever is happening, and you're not sure, your life is really becoming difficult, you need to just take one step further. That was the purpose of the video, making awareness, because we want to see harmony in the community. Things can do change. Prevention is better than cure. Please come forward. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Pankaj Upadhyay. Thank you for having me in this video. I'm eternally grateful to Harman Foundation, Harinder Kaur OAM, lead Sharmili Nagarsekar, and Euphony Films for making the documentary possible around coercive control and stories shared by DV victims or DV survivors, if we can refer them as. The documentary is very important for us. The sole reason we created this documentary is because we wanted to give purpose to the pain of the DV survivors, and also we wanted to convey strength from their stories, and also how the strength can benefit others. Looking at the numbers, the percentage of rise of receiving calls on the helpline 1800 RESPECT has grown over 3,000% since it was officially launched. So the numbers are not looking very good. And this is where it's very important that as community organizations, as individuals, as every responsible citizen of this country, we should come forward and support creating awareness around domestic violence and family violence prevention, and also taking a stand. Thank you.
Hello, I just finished watching a very powerful documentary made around the topic of coercive control. The stories that never get the press, they're never told in the open. Very powerful, and as a result, there was a lot of people here who took a pledge to be on the lookout for victims, the silent victims, and try to guide them towards support services. So thank you to Lead Connect for organizing this showing of the documentary. Thank you.
आपको हरमन फाउंडेशन
For all types of criminal law, family law, immigration law, conveyancing, and employment matters, please contact Tarandeep Singh on 0470 412 600.